And so when we come to celebrate Pentecost, it means a lot. You are coming to charge up. I'm telling you. Some of you are operating under capacity. Some of you are operating below the money you should get. Some of you are operating below your favor. You're operating below your influence. You're operating below your ability. You're operating below your skills. Some of you are operating below your potential. Talk spiritually. Talk family-wise. Some families are operating below their potential. Listen, you are a builder of generations. You are a builder of destinies. And sometimes there must be a revamping. Something must stir you up and wake you up. And just look at waking up 5 a.m. and going out 9 and coming back at 5 and doing that for 10 years. You have to get to a point where there must be an awakening in your spirit. I know your pension is good. I know your retirement package is good. I know this and that is good. But when the retirement time comes, you realize that you don't like it again. When you are young, you make projections. But when you get there, it's like, this money is too small for me. It's too small for me. And that is why you need the presence of God to be able to drive through and break through in this contour world and become everything God has called you to become. And so Moses received the Torah, and then they celebrate, yearly, annual festival, celebrate the delivery of the Torah, which is symbolic of the law of God, the meditations of God, the mind of God, the instructions of God on how to live our lives, how to build our marriages, how to prosper, how to be healthy, how to be strong. So in the Torah, there was also the law, over 600 and something laws. Most of them was about health, about society, about social life, community, family. Most of other things that were brought inside, they were more rigid. But some of them were instructions about things people shouldn't eat and things they should eat and how people should marry and what they shouldn't marry. And a whole lot of them were in there. Some God said, and some also through the battles Moses experienced from leading Israel, he had to receive wisdom from God to institute those laws by reason of the people that he was migrating with into the promised land. So that is why there were a lot of do's and don'ts and do's and don'ts. But in the midst of Torah was also things that God has directly spoken and directly instructed. Part of them were covenants, and part of them were ways of worship, ways of walking with him. And so that when you come to God, you don't decide how to do things. You don't decide how you get it done, but then you operate the blueprint that God has set in place. The other aspect of this whole Pentecost celebration was also more about the Passover in Exodus 12 from number 13, when God spoke to Moses that they should put the blood on the doorpost, so that when the angel of death comes and he sees that, he will pass over. That means that danger will not come to them. Trouble will not come to them. They will not come under the judgment of the angel. That season, the judgment was coming to the firstborn of Egypt. And God was going to spare Israel, so that out of that, Pharaoh will have no choice but to allow the people of Israel to leave Egypt. And so the celebration of the Passover, which is Pentecost, was also a sign to really, as a memorial of God's goodness, of God's kindness. It was a memorial of his deliverance, a memorial of God's power. The day God gave them power, the day God restored them, the day God gave them deliverance, the day God gave them dominion over their enemies. And that is a good thing to know. And so over the years, so the Pentecost, or the celebration of the festivals, was 50 days after the Passover. So they were 50 days after the Passover, they will celebrate. It was celebration galore. It was party. Come on, say party. So what we call Pentecost is really a party. It's a party. You know the one we now do, shaka, kaka, kaka, kaka. It was a party. Party people come and they eat, they drink, and they feast. And also it was a time of the first fruits. People will come and bring the first fruits of their farms, of their products, of their increase, and come and thank God. Yearly, they will come with their first fruit during Pentecost and come and thank God for blessing the hands, the works of their hands, for blessing their produce, and for commanding increase in their land. So they came with all that, and they came with food. People came with things, and it was the whole place was charged up. The place was awesome, celebration, boom. Everybody was blessed. It also amazes you to know that during those festivals, by the Torah, they were also encouraged to release slaves, prisoners, and also people that were in debt. They wiped off their debt, brought it back to zero. So if your credit history wasn't good, it was corrected. If you owe the bank forgave you, and then they say, take back the 80,000 pounds. We won't take it from you again. You have come back to zero. You don't owe anybody here. So that is what Pentecost was about. People forgave people their sins, and then people repaired their damaged relationships, and then families came together. There was reunion. Marriages were restored. Friends restored, and then people that were in prison, people that had caused problem, they were forgiven. So during this festival, it was a lot of joy, and everybody was given the opportunity to celebrate. People were pardoned from things they had done that would cause havoc. No one was held captive for all the wrongs they had done in the past. This was all in the old covenant. Please hear this carefully. This was all in the old covenant. Power is restored. Joy is restored. So yearly, you did not hold your past against your future. You did not hold all the loopholes in your life against your destiny, because you have received power. For the Passover has happened. And God has brought judgment over the wicked, judgment over darkness. And so people have been liberated from bondage, from oppression. And because God did that for them, and they were asked to celebrate it yearly, they remembered how they were in bondage, how they were in oppression, how they were hijacked over 400 years, over 30 years by Pharaoh, and kept them in captivity and in slavery. And so when Pentecost came, or during this festival, they normally release all these people. They released them. They as a memorial that once we were slaves, once we were in captivity, once we were bound, once we were neutralized, once we lacked, once we were beggars, once we were oppressed. And so this yearly celebration, we have to remember what God did for us, and then loose those who are bound, loose those who are oppressed, release those who are troubled. And then as we migrate forward, we realize what we mean by people are bound and troubled is no longer just prison sentence and just people oppressed. We're talking about demonic oppression. We're talking about satanic oppression. We're talking about dark forces. People are sick. Their kidney has been hijacked. People's liver has been padlocked. People's pancreas has been hijacked by spirits. The enemy has pumped filth in people's heart, filth in people's womb, filth in people's eyes, filth in people's white and white blood cells and red blood cells. So people are jeopardized in their system. It's like millipedes are feeding on people's biological system. And then spiritually, people are under attack, under oppression. People are under yokes. People are depressed. People are insane. The devil is holding people's mind. He's holding people's soul. Satan has laid his hands on marriages and on families and on destinies that are assigned for big things. And so as we migrate forward, we realize these celebrations are good. They are a memorial of the deliverance of God, memorial of the breakthrough, deliverance of the hand of God, but still something is missing. So throughout the ages, these whole celebrations are going on. These whole celebrations are happening. And then the 50 days which is symbolic of freedom, restoration. They call it the Jubilee celebration, because 50 in biblical numerology is Jubilee. So during those Jubilee celebrations, there is restoration, deliverance.